Hello and welcome to The Lobby, GameSpot's weekly hangout, every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Pacific, right here on videogames.com. I'm your host, Danny, Video Games O'Dwyer, and I'm very happy to be joined by Mark, Video Games Walton.
Hello.
Kevin, Van, Video Games Ord,
Yeah.
and Chris, Video Games Waters.
It's amazing the connection we all share.
I know.
What a coincidence, eh?
So much.
You never have thought.
Our father really did have sex with a lot of women, and then only gave us his middle name. It's
Very
peculiar
adamant about it, though.
I'm saying video games a lot because, in case you guys haven't noticed, review team people, a lot of video games come out.
Yo.
You wouldn't know anything about this, would you,
Nothing.
Kevin? Has been. You feeling okay?
You know what? I'm kind of tired right now, and I got lucky. Randolph let me go home a little early yesterday.
Yesterday?
So I took a nap. I went home and took a nap. Just really tired.
And now
really
you're thinking
tired.
about a better time in video games.
coming
2004.
2004.
Half-Life 2,
well,
baby.
we just passed Half-Life 2's anniversary.
I know.
10-year anniversary. So I have to celebrate somehow.
When did that happen? Like,
20. I thought it was 20. I think it's tomorrow. 20.
I thought it was
Internet.
Sunday for some reason.
Siri.
see,
when did
I thought
Half-Life
Twitter
2?
would explode with some
I
Half-Life
thought
3
it was
rumors.
Sunday. Well, no, like people were celebrating because Halo 2 has its anniversary
Yeah.
this year. Of course,
You're right. World of Warcraft is
World
on
of
next
Warcraft.
Sunday. You are correct. It was last Sunday.
So
Half-Life 2 and WoW came out within a week of each other.
What a great time that was.
What a
eh?
great time.
yeah, remember those days?
But it's still great times right here in 2014
Yeah.
because games such as Grand Theft Auto 5, Far Cry 4, and Dragon Age Inquisition, which all three of which we're going to play today on the lobby. A bunch of games didn't make it. Little Big Planet 3 is out as well.
Just came out, yep.
What else is in the review pipeline? That Dead Island piece of garbage.
Yeah, that's not good.
Dead Island, Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Oh, Pokemon.
Yeah.
Forgot about Pokemon.
Never Alone.
Never Alone.
Thank you, Mary Kish.
Yep.
What's This War of Mine?
This
War of
War of Mine
Mine.
just came out. That game sounds rad. It
Yeah.
sounds like everybody that likes
Yeah.
games should play this War of Mine. That game sounds really
WWE
rad.
2K15 on next-gen consoles. Will it be crap as well? find out later this week.
Yeah, there's loads, man. There's
Lego
so
Batman
much.
3.
Yeah,
Oh, Lego
3.
Batman. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Space Hulk Ascension. I saw that go through QA. What the heck? I have no idea what that is.
It's just some Warhammer thing. Warhammer
Okay.
40K.
Okay.
You wouldn't understand.
I wouldn't. Escape Dead Island, all of these things. It's crazy. But we got too many. We'll talk about all the review stuff later because I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the sort of the process and how crazy this whole month has been. But first of all, Mark
Yes.
Walton.
Yes.
We had a review, or you had a review come through late last week,
Yes.
and you played the bejesus out of it. An old game, but with a new mode, GTA 5.
Ooh, yes. GTA
Old
5.
game.
What a great game.
It's a year old.
Old
It ain't
game.
no Half-Life 2 old.
No, yeah, I mean, look, so it's over a year old. They've updated it for PS4, Xbox One. It is freaking great. Like,
Yep.
It looks amazing. The best thing about it is that, you know, you've got all these fancy new engines people are starting to bring out for, like, the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. They're like, oh, look at all this stuff, right? You know, Rockstar took their old engine designed for the last gen, updated it for this, and it looks better than a lot of those games.
And GTA on 360 and PS3 was probably one of the best looking games on those systems.
I mean, it pushed those systems like further than at least, you know, I think so anyway, from the way it looked, further than a lot of games did. So yeah.
Before we get into the bones of it, because we're going to play some here, the first-person perspective thing, there was a really interesting sort of angle to this that I didn't appreciate until I read your review when we were doing the video review, was that when you sort of go from the third-person perspective into like the head of these characters, it feels more violent, it feels more weird or something?
Yeah, for me, I think it's, well, what the crux of it was when I was playing, it was the first sort of big heist, and where it went a bit wrong, and you know, and I'm having to gun down like a lot of cops, and I'm doing it all in the first person, and it just because you're sort of seeing it that way for the first time. There's like this disconnect between you and the character, like when you're in third person. So like if you see Trevor on screen, and yeah, you're controlling him, but he's the one doing the shooting, okay? Right, and you're like, okay, this guy's shooting cops because he's a dick, okay? Now, basically, when you sort of zoom into the first person, all of a sudden it's like, okay, sure, I'm still seeing the story as Trevor throughout the narrative in the third person, but now it feels like I'm the one doing all the shooting, and I kind of feel bad. And like, you know, you were saying earlier about the sort of stomping on people as well. Like if you beat people up and stomp on them, it's quite, you know, stamping on their head and you're like looking at it like that. It's
and when you like punch them, their glasses come off and they look shocked and like freaked out by you.
Yeah.
It does like, it's weird how for most first-person games you walk up and like bump, like you get this close to someone, they just don't react because it's video games and you're like staring this. But in GTA, because I don't know, just the way they've always made those worlds, when you walk up at someone, they're like, you know, what's going on?
Yeah.
Well,
they might take a swing at you.
Yeah, or they might hit you or something. And all that stuff that happens in first person now.
But what's the difference, like, between playing a game like Payday 2, where basically all you're doing is gunning down cops when things go wrong, to like, why is it more impactful when it's GTA?
Because GTA creates a world, and always has done, that is far more vivid and far more realistic than most other shooters. Like when you play Call of Duty, it just feels, it's intentionally so, but it's very over the top, and you know, there's a sort of a fantasy element to it, and obviously in the new one there's a sci-fi element to it.
But like you're in a war zone.
Yeah.
Well, and they're bad guys.
And
They're very much the bad guy.
And they're bad guys.
Shooting.
And also, you didn't drive there, like, stop and get your hair cut, like, drive again, and then, like, get out and shoot a bunch of cops. Like, it's more, that makes sense. It's more detached from kind of the greater world. Yeah. Feels a little more gamey, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, GTA, you know, the detail that is in GTA 4's world is amazing. 5, sorry. And it's that, and the fact, you know, the voice acting is amazing, the storyline that drags you in, the characters, like all that stuff adds up to you feeling more like this is a real world. So when you are in it, killing like innocent people or cops or whatever, it does, you know, it moves you in a way that I don't think third person ever did.
And when you were speaking to like how you realize in the story beats that you're like, you are Trevor or whatever, I kept having this thing, I played for about 3 hours last night, I kept having this thing where I forgot which character I was, or I thought I was Michael, and then he's, you know, he says something and you're like, oh, I'm playing as Trevor, like I totally forgot. It just felt like me, or like Gordon Freeman, or like John Halo, you know, it was like, I am the... And then when you go up to like the cutscene, then the cutscene kicks in and you're like, oh, it's taking me out again.
Yeah, I guess because like, it's particularly in GTA, if you go off on one, right, if you spend hours just driving around doing that stuff with no sort of story narrative in between, to sort of bump you out of it again, I can see how you could sort of feel like that, you know. You can spend hours, right, just going around killing stuff, going through the desert, trying to find peyote. And,
Yes.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Speaking of which, let's do that. I'm guessing you're playing as Trevor right now.
I am Trev, as you were. The word Trevor's a really like British name to me. Like, yeah. So yeah, we're Trevor. This is his place, as you can see. He's staying at Thingy's cousin's place. I've forgotten his name, but they've completely trashed it.
This whole thing is so dark.
I mean, so in first person view, I mean, immediately, like what you see is just like the detail that's on stuff that I guess in third person you didn't quite notice before. Like you just sort of go through and just admire.
It's a lot easier to just look down on the countertop and be like, oh yeah, it's
look
just
at that.
like
AM beer.
Drink some whiskey.
Drink some whiskey. Where is the whiskey?
And press left on the D-pad. It was right there.
Where was it?
I think to that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, let's have some shots. Yeah, you can really see all the blood and poo on the ground.
And all the whiskey in that glass.
And all the pornography underneath the whiskey.
Delicious.
Ooh, zoom in.
Oh, what? How do I? No, I can't do that. There's enough filth in this game. So, yeah, I mean, initially anyway, that's one of the cool things. But like I was saying, the peyote is something that I didn't realise was in this game. Ooh, hello. That was in this game. That lets you transform into like spirit animals and stuff. Like,
yeah, this is a new thing they've put in into the HD version. Yeah, so we saw a YouTube video earlier today where somewhere near Mount Chiliad there was like some sort of is peyote like some sort of herb or plant.
So peyote is
gets you off your face.
Peyote is like the stuff they make from. Isn't that the stuff they make from like cactuses and stuff?
Okay,
like maybe. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
Could be horribly wrong about it. But it's an hallucinogenic.
So do you want to go try and get it?
Yeah, totally. You know, give us a chance to like drive through the city. I'm going to get rid of this truck because I hate this goddamn truck. It's so slow. I'm going to take this nice, shiny, fast car.
Okay, here's the challenge. You have to get to Chiliad, right? Are you late enough in the game where you can...
I have all...
Do it in first person. That's challenge 1.
Challenge 1.
I know driving in first person
I don't want to share. Sorry. Push the wrong button.
What are you doing?
There we go.
Options.
Right.
I know driving in first person is hard.
It's hard.
But just...
Like, this is one of my takeaways from this. Like, I love the detail on it, though, like the speedometers that go around and stuff. But, like...
It's really hard.
But man, you cannot get it round the corner very easily at all. It's really like twitchy. Like,
Yeah.
damn it! Right,
Try and get to the airport. See if you can.
There goes your hood.
all right. So let's. Where's the airport? Where's the airport?
Down. There you go.
There we go. All right.
Do you have a parachute at the moment? Do you know?
Probably not.
Okay, let's try and get a helicopter. If you can't, it's going to be a little more difficult. But
Let's do it.
see how it
Okay.
I'm going to be
Oh
taking
my
questions
goodness.
from the chat as well, and I also want to tell people that we're giving away a copy of Far Cry 4. There's going to be details on that once we're finished playing GTA 4 or GTA 5 here.
Hang on, we're giving away Far Cry 4.
Yeah, we're giving away a special edition version.
not fun times.
I want that game.
No, you can't have it.
Uh,
You got to
You
play
are
this.
ineligible. Anyone with video games as their middle name can't win it.
Damn it.
Do you know what? I think a tire has gone out on this car.
Oh, really?
I think that's what's happened.
Sure, yeah, no, that's definitely.
Yeah, that's
why
it. That
you're
must be
driving
it.
terribly.
That's
Yeah.
got to be it.
That's probably.
See, it's just
Take another one if you want
I
one.
do, but I want a fast one. I don't want one of these like crappy cars. Oh,
Motorcycle.
No,
Please stop. Do not be alarmed.
no. Fine.
My God,
You're gonna
Bart,
smoke
no.
Fine. I want that car.
This is like,
Look at that
that's
car.
especially difficult, is trying to do drive-bys in
Right,
first
get
person.
Out, no, get out of the car. Get out of the
Get the
car.
motorbike, get the motorbike.
Fine.
Oh my god. It's so nasty. It's so nasty.
Okay, it's fine. We got the bike.
Yeah,
That'll do.
because this,
Oh my
this is so
God.
This is much
It
easier.
really is. That is really different. The like get out first person, blast the motorcyclist, and steal his bike. And
kinda
go
harsh,
away.
isn't it, man?
It is.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so we
Oh,
got the
God.
bike.
Speaking of harsh.
Oh, I'm gonna. If I fall off this is bad.
Oh!
No, there we go.
So the other thing is that when I was doing this in first person, I forgot how like health in GTA works, because you just assume it's like every other FPS. You can just take a bunch of shots, but like
and
one
just,
headshot,
like,
you're dead.
Hang out for a little bit.
Yeah.
You'll feel better.
Oh, I think the cops are after me after shooting that motorcyclist.
Yeah, I got
You got a star. But
God, nanny state, eh?
I feel like this needs the thing where, like, when you're driving, you don't look at the road directly in front of your car. You look at it like 40 yards in front. Like the camera could use a little bit of that stability.
Oh my word.
This is
Papa
really
wheelie,
uncomfortable.
Papa wheelie.
Okay, no, I
It's
got to
like
wait.
where
There's
the
a cop
GoPro
right there.
on
There's
his
a cop right there.
chest.
Oh yeah.
If I drive past him, we'll end up in trouble.
Do you have enough self-control to drive slowly in GTA?
Just long enough for that cop car to go away.
I think you need to go downstairs here.
Just go away. There we go.
So this is coming out on PC in January, end of January. Just like Oculus Rift support is just going to be the minute they come
I
out.
didn't even think of
God.
that. I didn't even think of that. That would be amazing.
Go on, fall
Drive
down there.
right off there. You'll be fine.
Do it, do it, do it.
Nailed it.
Look at that.
All right, turn around.
Turn around.
Yeah, you want to get in that. You want to get in that exit by the helipads. So go straight.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's how you turn around right there.
Oh,
Oh god.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, it's right here, left here. isn't it?
left. Yeah. I think you can probably drive up the steps and do like ramp in on this thing. Give it a go. Oh, maybe not.
Oh no, what's that doing there?
So you got to jump over this.
Okay,
I love the jumping in first person.
goodbye bike.
You just. Ooh, combat roll.
Fun times.
All right. Is there a helicopter there?
Okay, now they're pissed. Now they're seriously pissed. I should not be in here.
What a good time for you to
This is what happens when you
run
support big
ever so
government.
vigorously.
Just in case.
Get a rocket launcher. Shots.
There's no
in
choppers.
face.
Where are the choppers?
Well, can we steal a little plane? Like what?
The Learjet over there.
Yeah, maybe
Is
that.
there not? Look to your left. Is there no chopper there? Oh no.
It looks like
No
the best
chopper.
bet is that Learjet, because they're going to be busting
I'm
through
gonna
here
have
pretty
to get in the
soon.
jet.
Okay.
Because
Just land the jet when you get to your destination. No problem, right?
On top of it, Chiliad. Hopefully you have a parachute, maybe.
he's getting in.
I love how he gets it in first person as well. This is great.
Up the stairs.
Oh, man.
I'm not flying this. Oh, I am going to fly this in first person.
Yeah,
aren't I?
try it.
Oh no.
You're going to have to.
It's so difficult. You're gonna crash into all that stuff. Shunton's asking you max out your field of vision. We can probably. Oh no! Don't go forward. Back up. Back up.
I'm trying to go back. I just can't. It won't. Oh yeah, there we go.
Oh,
dear.
That looks like enough runway. You should be fine.
Up, up and away.
No big deal.
I believe in you.
Come on. Yeah.
Nice.
There we go.
All right.
Something
The
tells me
dream.
that was not an authentic way to take off.
It's like so hard to see where you're going now.
We're gonna have to go third person for this because
No, first person only, baby.
We're gonna miss. Can I at least put a waypoint on the map?
Yeah, sure.
Because otherwise I won't know where I'm flying.
And max out your field of... Just go into the settings, actually, when you're done here as well, just to show off some of the...
Yeah, I mean, you can do loads of stuff. Like, one of my favourite things about this is because I don't like driving in first person, you can have the game automatically just, like, remember your settings. And it works for individual vehicles. So if you like third person in cars, it will remember that. But if you like first person on a bike, it'll also remember that.
Oh, wow.
So it's very, very cool. And there's so much customization, like the controls. You can, in third person, you can have regular GTA controls.
Yeah.
In first person, you can have standard shooter controls. So, like, sprint is on, pushing the stick down.
Instead of tapping
X, which just feels weird in first person because you're having to take your thumb off, like the other stick. So, like, all that kind of stuff, like, there's loads of customization.
Nice.
Field of view is in here somewhere. I just can't remember where.
It's in controls, I think.
Is it in controls?
Yeah, I only because I did it yesterday. I think the field of vision... Is that it?
First person on foot field of view was an option.
Oh, God,
just
sorry, I've gone
there.
past it. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, it's maxed out already?
It's max.
Oh, you've maxed out?
I did, sorry, for yesterday's stream I did. So that's actually as wide as it goes.
Okay.
Well, that's also...
Oh, right, so I was doing the map as well. Right, where am I going?
Chiliad, up, yeah, so...
to the left in that, like, big...
Yeah, up there. In that big... No, up a bit. In that area.
Okay.
Kind of. Do you have a... I don't think you have a parachute. We should just try and jump out at the end.
Let's just see
if you
what
have
happens.
a parachute, you have a parachute.
Let's just see what happens.
It's so pretty.
It is pretty.
Chris?
That incredible amount of stars, though, totally unrealistic for a
for
city
a
like
large,
Los
bright
Santos.
city underneath them. Yes.
So, is that bullet hole in there, which has clearly depressurized this cabin?
I got the front windshield of this thing like shot out and was just like flying.
Just like face, cheeks are flapping.
Oh God, level out, level out. There we go.
It's pretty hard to see what you're doing.
It is very hard.
Do a barrel roll.
Is that wise?
Sure. Well, I guess that's not really barrel roll. What is something called?
Whatever that is.
Yeah, nothing. It's pretty dope.
Because a barrel roll, you have to like trace the inside of a circle, right? Is that the idea? That's a roll.
Sure, it
Is
can
that
be
right?
that.
I don't know. I feel like I saw some blog about this.
You know, this is going to go really wrong. I don't see any way we're going to get out of this plane in these mountains without dying horribly.
Apparently, it's
not
like
with that attitude.
Okay, but
apparently it's close to. I think it's on that peak to the right. There's a cable car up there.
Yep.
So if you get out there.
Okay,
Get right on out.
I'll just park on up, shall I? Like at the peak of the mountain.
Also, is your landing gear still down?
Oh yeah.
That's fine. I'm gonna leave it down. I don't want to risk it. Like, let's just leave it down, and everything will be fine.
I'm pretty sure that's not proper flight procedure.
Oh, fine. It's up. It's up. There we go.
Oh, nice work.
Okay.
I'm impressed you knew how to do that with the controller.
Yeah, it was a muscle memory, or.
Gosh, I've been playing it.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. You did spend most of the weekend playing.
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Okay. Just think about that hot peyote up there. It's going to get you.
Okay, we seriously need a game plan. Like, I'm approaching
If
the
you
top
have-
of the mountain.
Bank up, and if you have the parachute, this will be really easy. And if you don't, it'll be pretty funny.
He's pretty confident he doesn't have a parachute.
I'm 90. Wouldn't it be like in here? Oh God, I can't even get into the menu up here.
You can't even see if you're over the mountain anymore.
I feel like you might want to just bring it down so that.
Well,
No, you're still going to hit the ground.
Ease it down. There you go,
my
Mark.
God.
Way to ease.
Oh, that's it. You think you're going to stop and roll? Get out of
Yeah, just cruise right.
Put the landing gear down.
You're going to.
Oh my God.
And get out.
Jump out,
Get
jump out, jump out.
Get out.
Oh
What?
my God.
It's fine.
Yes!
It's fine. It's okay.
No, stop.
Oh, no. It's still going.
God damn it.
That was.
I thought I'd nailed
actually almost
that.
had it.
I thought I'd nailed it. Oh, that was so close.
Did you end up like tumbling down the
Yeah,
long
I think
slope?
if he'd missed that first roll, I would have made it. Oh man.
You should try and get up there again. We've got a little
in a
bit more
plane?
time. You should be if you
No,
like.
I
you're
want a
going to
helicopter.
respawn
We
with
need
like
a
an ATV
helicopter.
nearby, right? Because you'll
Yeah.
be at
Or if you.
Oh yeah, it will.
the
put
like
me in a-
country hospital
Yeah,
Yes.
it will.
or police station, whichever.
And then you can go to the airfield up there.
They sometimes have an airplane or helicopter.
helicopter,
there.
yeah.
All right.
Trevor's
Test
airfield.
it out.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
This is all in the goal is to take peyote, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty
I wanna
much.
make sure we're all
That's
clear.
that's pretty much all our goals.
what we're
in
trying
life,
to do.
right?
And then there will be fun and good times on the way, right?
That's the bucket list right there.
Okay, so Trevor's. 1.
Oh, you could probably just take the cable car up, actually. Yeah, just go over to the cable car. Perfect.
All right.
I think you have to wait around for it, but whatever.
Yeah, public transit.
Oh, actually, while we're doing that, isn't there like some sort of mystery? I think there's like the Mount Chiliad mystery is in that cable car.
Yes. Yes, there is.
Is this like a new mission or something?
No,
or some kind of Easter egg?
This is the
like
thing that everyone was going on about from like, oh god, damn
By the way, that's entirely your fault.
There is a new murder mystery in this though.
Oh, there is some sort of ghost thing.
Yeah, which is which I can't remember if it's only for people that have it on the last gen and then bought it on this one or not.
Cool.
But yeah, there's like a new murder mystery set of missions for Michael, which is quite cool. I mean, there's a bunch of new stuff, right? It's hard to sort of talk about everything new in this game.
Yeah.
Because they're not like big grand features, like first person is, but the rest of it is just little things that you're going to pick up on as you play through, and yeah, it's cool.
Isn't that kind
The interior of this vehicle is just killing me. This is great. Like, this is... I think I had that car.
Not even Gran Turismo could get all the interiors in their game.
No, and they spent like...
Nice.
Oh god.
You got it.
Oh, we made it.
So far.
Right,
It's okay. He's used to driving on the other side. It's fine.
It's fine.
What's first person cycling like? Oh, wait, just
I'm going to
drove over
reverse
like
parking.
everyone's bike.
I'm nailing it. Just wait.
Were you using the rearview mirror?
Is that you looking backwards?
Yeah.
That's great.
Oh my god.
Oh, you parked up the
There we go.
steps a little bit.
Close enough. Look at that.
What's the first person
That's
bicycle
pretty
like?
good.
Not too shabby.
The first person bike?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've done that before.
What's
so
it
it's like it's not the Hammer X, but yeah. Whee! There we go. Yeah, it's a bit.
All right, that's enough of that.
Okay, I'm gonna go and ditch the bike. Get off the bike. There we go. So many guns.
Yeah, just shoot one of these cars up. Oh no, you're trying to get to the top.
I'm trying to get to the top. I need to
Without
get in the
getting
cable
busted.
car.
Don't scare everyone. Oh my god!
Oh jeez.
Unprovoked.
It's fine. We're getting in the cable
This
car.
is so nasty because the cable car's gone.
Oh,
It's all these people.
Damn
This is what happened.
You better
This is
just-
what happens when you take the time to, murder people on the way
Yeah.
up.
As Sean
Jesus.
McInnes would say, no witnesses.
Do you reckon the cable
I
car?
blame
Oh,
this
look there.
person
Oh god.
for the cable car not being there. It's a good job I'm a well-adjusted person, really, because otherwise I don't think.
Are you Trevor right now?
Yes,
Oh,
I'm Trevor.
Makes sense.
How long does the cable car take to come back?
Oh,
right
there's
now.
fuck!
Oh, you're gonna miss it!
Get up! Go! 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 Go!
Oh god,
First person video games.
so,
What have you done?
so annoying.
Take the long way around.
Oh, I gotta go back.
Stamina should be up.
It's
There you go. Before the popo come.
I'm getting in. Okay,
You got
go,
it.
go, go, go.
I got it. Oh, go up.
Hung up on a wall. Damn you, Trevor, and your broad shoulders.
There it is.
Oh, get in.
Yes. Oh,
You
you're kidding.
son of a- Just hide. Hide.
It's all gone wrong.
Stay in there and hide.
Yeah, it's fine. Stealth mode.
Is that the cover?
This is stealth. No, cover would be that. Where is it? Cover would be no.
You only murdered like one person. They're
You
not
mentioned
gonna.
the cover was a little finicky.
Get back in.
Go. Oh.
Just lie down.
Yeah, just,
I'm crouched.
Is there prone?
I'm crouched.
they'll,
There's no prone, but this is as low as you can get.
Arma 3?
Is there get prone and roll around on the ground and scoot your butt up?
they'll never see you.
They're definitely
All right.
coming up there.
Are they definitely?
Yeah, I think
They're
that's-
there.
Just
I
keep
just
hiding.
saw.
Keep hiding.
Go,
Stay in there.
press
Stay in there.
Yes!
Yes!
Yay!
Justice.
Should we skip the ride, or do we want to
Yeah,
admire
skip
the
the ride.
beautiful?
Let's just admire the view.
Oh no!
You
You
know
said
what?
yes. You said admire the view.
Okay, don't fall off.
Yeah, fine.
Don't fall off.
Okay,
So
now
where
what?
I think you want to go is
Look at
left.
Look at that. See that? You see the
Yeah,
lighting
it's pretty
effect
good.
on there? Like you're in here, and it's like and it's
Bit of-
super bright. And
Bit of HDR.
so
Look at the rocks.
Right.
They're rumblier.
Yeah, it really looks way more
It's
like.
a technical term, Kevin.
Rumblier.
It's a technical term, you guys.
So there should be a little red flag. Turn to the left.
I see it.
You see it?
oh,
Over to the
good
right.
work. Good work.
Okay.
We did it.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think this is it. Yeah, this is it because there's the sign.
Oh,
It
yeah,
says,
yeah.
what does it say?
Bell's End.
Ah, see what they did there.
That's some hot UK joke.
There it
Okay,
is.
so
There
hopefully
it
there's some-
is.
Come on, peyote.
I don't get it.
Please let there be peyote. Please, please, please.
Oh, that's it. That's it. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah, we did
Yes,
it.
do it.
All right.
Eat.
What's he going to transform into? Ah, What do we get? What do we get?
Is it like a random animal each time?
I'm told it's random. So. Oh, we're a bird. We're a bird.
Oh wow! Press R2 for aerial attack.
Oh, are you gonna the bird
Oh,
somebody?
dude, let's go poop on someone.
You gotta go
my
Far
God,
Cry
yes.
someone.
This is so dumb.
It's pretty dumb.
It looks amazing.
There's no first-person bird mode.
This is the future.
First
No.
birdsome.
No, you only get third person for animals.
What's he saying?
Man crow. What's a man?
What's
Oh
a
my
man?
God, I just saw you poop.
You really need to go poop on someone.
Right, we gotta go find someone. We
problem-
are quite far away from everyone.
What about on top? There's usually people on top, right? Like tourists.
Oh no, I've gone. Oh no, I'm going down. Too late.
Dive! Dive!
Too late.
Les Moonvest in the GameSpot chat says, "I approve of this senseless slaughter." Thanks, boss.
Good old Moonves.
Get the go-ahead from on high.
So apparently, what is it, like 27 of these or something?
Yeah, so there's like 27 different animals. Like, so far, people have found seagull, chicken, I think that's it.
Crow.
Crow. Yeah, we found the crow.
Are they all just variations on birds?
They're actual birds.
Goose. Pigeon.
Hey, if pigeon's one, or look, if penguin's one, that'd be even better. Or maybe there is penguin, like, if you go down by the water and stuff.
That should be really great.
Yeah.
It's just going to be
Yeah.
like in the aquarium. There's no penguin habitat in Los Santos.
Is there a zoo? There's no zoo, is there? I don't think there's a zoo in
that I
San
know of.
Andreas.
Why is there not a zoo? That's. Oh my God.
That seems like an oversight.
Oh, there you go. Were you not? Was there?
Sorry, I didn't realise I could push X to make it go faster.
Okay.
Because I was used to the first person control.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
It is probably the worst place for you to get peyote and do this. Is
Oh my
in the
God.
middle of nowhere.
The camera's killing.
You're going to this like lonely. You're going to this lonely road.
Sorry.
At least angle towards those buildings.
The motion sickness is like.
Imagine this in Oculus Rift.
No! I do not wish to imagine that.
When was the last time you got like legit motion sick from a game, Kevin?
Actually, I found that over this review season, I spent so much time doing nothing but playing games. There came a point where my brain just started to fry.
Oh,
and it
really?
started to, but typically,
Come on, bird.
just, I guess we're filling time now, huh?
Yeah, I mean he's on a giant bird spirit quest.
It's because you
So-
poop on someone's head.
So-
Like, it's just real bad.
So a bad frame rate can really hurt. Can actually make me motion sick when I play
Right.
games.
Yeah.
So, but like Prey is the last time I actually had like a game mechanic.
Really?
Was it
Cause
the
me
like
to-
going up walls and upside down?
Yeah,
thing?
pretty much. Yeah, going like traveling up like this and having the whole room basically the wall become the floor and stuff like that. Like that shit really. Oh dear.
Here we go. Here we go.
All right, we're getting close. You're gonna dirty some windshields.
Yeah.
This is just the dumbest thing.
It's so dumb.
Although, did you see the Goat Simulator expansion pack that's coming out?
Yeah.
The MMO thing? That'll actually still be the
So what is that, sorry?
dumbest thing of the week. There's a free expansion pack for Goat Simulator coming out, which turns it into like a fantasy MMO.
Oh,
Yeah,
amazing.
there's
Yeah.
101 levels. Yep, so you can level up to 101. New level cap. You can. There's like 5 characters you can select.
Okay.
I think they're different goats, and one of them is just a microwave
they're
on
different.
legs. It's like
Is it
2.
really?
Yeah, it's like a microwave with 2 human legs on it. Yes. Oh man, if you could attack a motorcyclist,
Oh, this is really hard to control.
You're gonna get
Oh,
knocked. You're gonna get hit by a car. Is what's gonna happen.
just go into the village.
Careful.
There's
Careful.
buildings.
Oh no!
Did you die? God damn it, Mark!
You were the world's worst crow.
Oh my goodness! What a way to end your spirit journey.
Is that the only bit of peyote up there? Is it, are you like done?
Well,
One of
there-
27.
We got 1 of 27. What the hell is happening?
You're still coozed up,
Are those bikes up there?
coming down.
Can you take it again, or does it just...
No, it's gone now. It looks like
Look,
it's just a
if-
collectible. You do it once, and that's your
Oh,
chance.
that's it. That's it. Oh,
Good job, Mark.
Sorry.
Go back up and see if you can cycle off the top of the mountain.
Way
please.
to
Yeah.
waste the
There's a
viewer's
bicycle right there.
time.
All right.
Yeah, just
Here we go, here
bomb
we go.
down the mountainside.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
You
This is all we're gonna do
You
is
failed
descend
in
to
your
Mount Chiliad.
Go, 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 go.
in first.
Your life has no meaning now that you're not a bird.
That was a bad idea.
Land it.
Sick.
Got it.
We're good. Sick recovery, bro.
Still got it. Oh, all right. Yeah. Yes. Oh man.
What?
Oh, this is going to go bad.
You're still going.
Oh. Nice. Did all right there for a minute.
That was pretty solid.
That was pretty
nice
solid.
little run.
There you go. Grand Theft Auto 5. Out now on Xbox One and PS4, and will be coming soon to Xbox, to PC next in January.
Exciting mods.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Oculus
Oh my
Rift,
goodness,
Pigeon
the
support.
mods.
So many games.
The mind reels.
We've already had a hell of a bunch of games drop over the past couple of weeks. This is kind of silly season for reviewing type folks like you wonderful gentlemen. Kevin, what's it been like?
Well, I'm actually Kevin's clone.
Okay.
It takes a few Kevins to.
Real Kevin got terribly motion sick and had to be admitted to long-term care.
True. It's always the rough time, right? And of course we a little bit smaller staffed than we were at the same time last year, for example.
Which is why Mark's over helping us out as well.
Yeah, good job, Mark.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming over, bringing your British charms.
Thank you.
To the U.S.
Yeah, America.
So
Let's stare at each other down.
Has this been heavier than last year?
Well, yes, in the sense that of course we have fewer people, so it's been actually kind of hard to like. I spend so much of my time. There's no real difference between like when I'm working and when I'm not working. It's just like I'm always just kind of working. If that makes any sense. Like I just and plus. So much of what we do depends on when we receive things from publishers. So it's like you're just kind of stuck doing it when you get it, and then us deciding how to kind of deal with deadlines and things like that.
The timing is a super crunch because you're dependent on maybe you get some code early, but then if you do, there are embargo times or certain limitations to what you can show given the embargo time, and then releases stacked on top of one another, especially and even from the same company. I mean, companies like 2K Games, like Ubisoft, release like they have their own releases like week after week after week.
Well, think of it this way: like we had two Assassin's Creeds on one day, and then a week later we have a Far Cry. I mean, Ubisoft is basically just saying, "Okay, we're done now. We're gonna poop the games right out there, and here you go."
So
originally the Crew was going to be coming out.
That's true. It got delayed, right?
So it could have been even worse. And of course, a lot of these games are huge. It's not like Call of Duty or something notwithstanding, but you've got like Far Cry is huge, and Assassin's Creed is huge, and Dragon Age is huger.
Yeah.
And so these aren't just little things. I mean, sometimes you get a 6-hour shooter, you can finish it in a day.
Yeah.
These aren't things you can finish in a day. And of course, they all show up on the same day, just plop on my desk. I was like, here you go. Thanks.
So talk about the process, because I feel like one of the biggest misunderstandings people have about like how large game sites work is like how much heads up we have, how much time we have, the embargo stuff, like who gets to review them, all that sort of stuff. So what's the past couple of weeks been like in terms of like just getting games and then figuring out how we're going to review them on time?
Well, the first bit is like trying more or less to kind of have a plan about who's going to do what. The problem is, of course, that we can only do so much. Like, we have a plan, and then things come in at one time or something comes in much later than we expect, and so the plan gets disrupted. But we typically have a good idea of who knows what games. And the good news is that all of us play lots of different games. So it's rare, unless it's something like a fighting game or something very specific like a wrestling, like WWE or a sports game or something. Typically, any of us, for example, we all played Far Cry, so that kind of thing isn't too much of a problem when that comes in. But we more or less had people earmarked. Like, I sort of knew that we were going to, because me or Randolph Ramsey, my boss, will talk to, the PR people in advance that are in charge of getting us games. And so Ubi, for example, is really good about giving us a more or less a pretty good timeline of when something's going to come, and then we can plan around that. And this year, aside from Call of Duty, there wasn't really any event to go to.
Yeah, that's true.
We got the games. In some cases, that means we get a debug copy. For people that don't know, that's basically the final disc, but it runs on a test kit rather than a retail kit because it hasn't gone through manufacturing, so it doesn't have all the copy protection layers on it and stuff. But usually, like in the case of Dragon Age, which I'm going to be playing soon, we just got retail in advance.
Yeah.
And BioWare's like, here you go. play some...
Enjoy.
Play
But
and
if
enjoy.
they did that 3 days later or 5 days later,
Things
and then,
can be different. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, things can be tough. I mean, but the good news is most folks are really good this time of year about giving us a game in advance, although that's not always the case, is it, Mark?
No, this is true. It's not always the case. I mean, Assassin's Creed Rogue was a good example of that. That just sort of didn't turn up.
Yeah, that just wasn't sent.
Yeah,
Unity
it was-
did.
Unity did turn up in advance, so I had quite a lot of time with that. But Rogue was just, here it is, it's out on release day. We went and bought the game, and then I went and just hammered through and played as much as I could and did some side quests and things. When you sort of, I guess with these games, particularly a story-based game, it is always about seeing the entirety of that story and making sure that you're seeing everything that you think people would see and do when they play that game, and trying to give it its fair shout. And trying to do that, with a deadline and all that kind of stuff can be difficult. But
And the interesting case study with Grand Theft Auto then, because we got it at the end of last week.
Yeah.
You were playing it all weekend.
Yeah.
I cut the video review on Sunday.
Yeah.
So we'd hit their embargo for that review was 3 a.m. because they figured once New Zealand it hits midnight, we'll just do a global embargo, whereas that's kind of a weird time to do
GTA
it.
is a slightly different beast in that it is not a new game, effectively. This is the same. They haven't changed the story or anything like that. They've put in some new missions, but the core of that game is exactly the same. So I played GTA 5 already all the way through to the end and did a lot, nearly 100%ed it, basically. So coming back to this GTA 5, it's a slightly different process. It's not about getting to the very end of the game and seeing the entire story, because we know that. We know what's happening in that game. We know how those characters work. What's important is figuring out, what are the new things here? How well do they work? What are you getting as someone that may already own the game and now want to upgrade to this new version, And it's getting that stuff across.
And Rockstar is at least, the embargo they gave is sensible.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to have the game before we got it, because it meant for a lot of crunching over the weekend.
Yeah.
But there are cases where, and people are talking about this a lot this year, and I suspect, or at least hope, that maybe publishers will take a second look at what embargoes are, because sometimes we'll get an embargo. So for people that don't know, an embargo is basically like the publisher's like, okay, in exchange for giving you the game early, we're going to set an embargo, meaning that we don't want you to post your review earlier than so-and-so time. And so that's part of the agreement. It's like, we get the game early.
Post your review, post gameplay, talk about it on
right,
Twitter.
it's like
all
here
that
when
stuff.
you're allowed to do this stuff.
It's like that professional courtesy kind of
exactly.
aspect of it.
But when you get something that's like, it can go up 9 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesday, you're talking about 9 hours after the game has been out already on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Depending on the game, people might have gone and bought it and finished it before your review will ever go up. And we'll push back against that stuff, but sometimes we don't necessarily get anywhere.
Yeah.
But the more people pay attention to this stuff, especially when the game then comes out and it ends up being broken, for example, then that puts us in a tough position.
But there's a weird scenario this week with some, I know, Total Biscuit and a couple of others. PC Gamer said they didn't get versions of Far Cry 4, and then we're suddenly doing tweeting that as if almost like I felt quite angry about it, because I thought what you're doing there is basically sort of blackmailing the developer to send you the game, because you're implying that there's something wrong with it, whether or not there is or isn't. But the implication that we didn't get
they
it.
usually send me a game. I didn't get it this time. I wonder why.
That's really tough. You have to be careful because in the movie industry, you'll have the same thing. There's no advanced screening. That often, if not most of the time, means that. But we've been doing games long enough where I know that there's nothing necessarily implicit in the same thing in games.
Yeah,
typically
no
in movies, you know that it's probably going to be crap.
Yeah.
But in the case of games, that's not really the case. So, for example, we didn't get Lego Batman well in advance. We typically haven't been getting Lego games in advance, for example. So, I remember getting Valkyria Chronicles not at all.
Yeah.
There's some games we just have to go out and buy.
Or we got Bayonetta
same
2 a month earlier.
Yeah,
or
we
something,
got Bayonetta more than a month earlier.
Mario as well. Mario Kart we had for
Mario Kart, so in the UK, Nintendo are quite good at sending the code out. So Bayonetta I had for at least 2.5 months before that game came out. They had for that, so they have different embargoes with Bayonetta. There would be some preview ones, there'd be some review ones.
Yeah.
I just played through the whole thing.
That one's weird too. Nintendo's funny too, because at this point, most publishers sort of understand the internet's a global thing, right? Nintendo will do embargoes where it's like we have this embargo in Europe and this embargo, and it can be really odd because they'll have embargoes like in Europe like days, if not a week earlier than the U.S. And they'll say, okay, you can't do it if a U.S. reviewer does it, but you can put it up if your UK reviewer does it. But it's going to the same place.
Yeah.
The internet.
Nintendo's kind of weird. And then there's, of course, part of embargoes is like, here's a list of spoilers we don't want you to put in, for example.
Pokemon.
And Nintendo can
Which is great to read, right? Hey, here's a game. So excited for you to play it. Here's a list of all the spoilers we don't want you to talk about.
Yes.
But we're just going to put it right in front of your face.
So here's
for you
the
to
thing.
read.
So a lot of games will come with a reviewer's guide, which promptly gets shoved somewhere that I never look at until I'm done with the game. So, especially with something like Dragon Age, where it's like, here's a list of things we don't want you to reveal. And it's like, but I don't want you to reveal it to me. Yeah. So I'll play first, and then I'll go back and check and see what those things are. And of course, even sometimes then they'll reveal something that I didn't come across because I didn't go down that particular story path or whatever. But and with stuff like Pokemon, Nintendo's really weird. Like, sometimes we'll get like pages of like, here are all the Pokemon you can't mention are in the game. You can only mention things that happen in the first 3 chapters. You can only, and so what we'll actually do sometimes is then go back and do a second thing. Once the initial, we've done that with a video review for Pokemon before. I remember IGN did something really funny once in a Pokemon review where there were just like big black bars over everything they weren't allowed to talk about in the review, and then they just took them out when the game was actually released. So it's, this stuff can be weird and funny, and
sometimes they get the game. Sometimes they get the game early to you, and it's a game that you're familiar with and you play a lot, and then some weird online jiggery-pokery happens that causes the problem. Like, when do we post this? The Halo stuff was crazy.
So Halo, the Master Chief Collection, was a whole different beast because it combined the sort of, I've kind of played these games before that Mark experienced with GTA 5. Like, you didn't need to play all of GTA 5 to write the PS4, Xbox One review. So I didn't complete every campaign in the Master Chief Collection, all 4 Halos, before reviewing it. But
you played it a lot, though.
I played it a lot,
played it tons.
and that was weird because it was a digital copy of the game. They sent us. We got the campaign first and had those for most of a week, and then they patched in the multiplayer stuff, and then they did that like 12 hours before the review embargo lifted, which was the Thursday before the actual game came out and the servers went live. So that's another question when it comes to reviews is online. Can I test online in a environment that's reasonable, that I think is going to approximate the reality when this game comes out? With Halo, the servers, they went on, but they were very scarcely populated. So developers will organize times. Like, hey, come on by Friday from 3 to 6. We'll have a bunch of people there playing. But with Halo, what they were doing was custom games, inviting you in so you could play the game and you could get a feel for playing Halo 2 multiplayer, classic or anniversary, which was a trip, switching between those two. But at the same time, you're playing custom games and you're not testing the online architecture. Yeah. So for a game like that, what we did this time was the review in progress, sort of an update, talked about the campaigns, but then we held off on the online multiplayer until we could see how it went. And sometimes holding off on that is not a great move because then you don't have your complete review, you don't have your review score up when everyone's looking for it. And hitting embargoes, the thing we didn't really touch on, is really important for us because that's when everyone wants to see the game. Yeah. That's when the audience comes for it, and if it's not there, then people aren't coming to your site as often if they don't think if you're not hitting those embargoes. So we held it. Come Tuesday, the servers go up. They're not up. Anyone who tried to play, I got tweets from people who went and bought it at midnight, stayed up for 4 hours, got into 2 matches, and that's brutal. But you also understand okay, we've seen it a bunch of times before. Online infrastructure, you can't really test what it's going to be like in the retail environment to that scale. Sometimes stuff happens. Totally. So, gave it a couple days, gave it all last week, and held the review until Saturday. But finally, it wasn't the patches they were administering were not fixing it. It didn't get better. They actually took away options on the multiplayer side. Like, you can't just choose to go in and play Halo 4 multiplayer now.
Right.
You could maybe get into a match as part of a big team battle playlist, but like
that's a major thing.
Kind of sucks.
and it sucks. It totally sucks.
And then it's reflected in the review.
And then it's reflected in the review. And so that's why the game got a 6. And a lot of people are outraged because there's this enduring fallacy that, like, a game I will play is a 7 or above. A 6 or below is a total garbage pile that, you know, was created by masochistic demons that just want to torture me. Like, that is so wrong, and that's not the way we write our reviews here. Like, a 6, if you're ignoring a 6 just because of the number, you're missing a lot of the story.
The numbers are always tricky, and forever games writers will be talking about numbers and whether reviews should have numbers, whether stars are better than numbers, whether we should use a number of bananas,
whether the number should change,
whether the number should change over time.
Yeah,
this is harder and harder. I mean, how to take care of games and how to handle games as they, change over time. I mean, we're used to that in things like, say, an MMO or something like Diablo 2 or whatever. But then we have now, and every game is essentially subject to this. And I even tweeted earlier today that I miss when games were just released rather than launched, because we're now at a stage where we talk about things like the Halo Master Chief Collection launch. Why the F are we even talking about games like this as launching? Like, that kills me. But so that's why, like, when it comes to reviews, everything's just like on a case by case basis, and we have to, the reviewer has to look and say, when's, yes, it's okay to do this, but even then we know that doesn't mean that, maybe when that game goes live, the day it goes live, that it will be perfect.
And that's happened before.
And it's happened before, and sometimes if we're in the process, sometimes that means we just can't evaluate something and we have to wait, at least to at least attempt. But then we have to draw a line in the sand, and it's like, how far do we go before it's like, it's not okay anymore, we have to review this. I had a discussion, for example, yesterday with Dan Hines in the Australian office, who's reviewing Never Alone, because the game's just straight out broken. And then, of course, there's also another issue, which is that he's in Australia. The patches hit at different times. Yeah. And these are just the sort of things that we have to work around now in games where that just never was a thing. 10 years ago, for example.
And then obviously, like, making sure that you understand where the bribes are coming from, who's paid you off, and who hasn't.
Oh my goodness.
I like talking about this stuff because I think there's so much, like, misunderstanding about the realities of actually doing this.
I mean, typically all that happens is, hey, here's, we have to plan kind of in advance when the busy time comes, because we sort of have to know. So I do talk to people at EA and UB and stuff like that. But you know what happens? All that is an email and say, somebody sends me, hey, we've got Dragon Age coming to you so-and-so day. And it's like, okay, cool, I can plan around that. I get an email and say, so we're sending Far Cry this day, and blah, blah. I don't know yet about when we're going to get, because a lot of times PR people don't know, like, when they're going to have access to games. And they're kind of, it's a long chain for them before it ever comes to us. And then, but most of the time it's like, oh, I got a game in the mail, or, hey, this game's coming out next week, and it's a week earlier, and I still don't have it, so I'll shoot, hey, when can we expect to get so-and-so thing? But typically it's just like, it comes to me, I know who's available, it's like, here's your review game for review. And of course, now most of our reviews are done by people, by contracted authors that aren't even in the office.
We've got some great freelancers, but then that also complicates the question of, once the review's posted, and this is something that's come up a lot with the Halo review, is what happens as the situation changes? Like, when 343 Industries gets it together, and, like, all of a sudden you can get into a Halo match like that and whatever, does the score change? Is the review updated? And then how does that change when it's me in-house versus a freelancer who then you maybe have to pay them to do another updated review, and maybe their schedule is full, So in the case of Halo, like, in the case of updating reviews, we have a couple ways to do that. One is to just sort of put an editor's note in the text of the review, so people going to read it in a month will see a different, the whole review will be there in its entirety, but there'll be an extra note.
Yeah, like an addendum or something.
Yeah, and so we did that with Titanfall earlier this year, which is a review I did. We also do second take reviews and other perspective reviews, though the bandwidth for that, given our
harder and harder to
staff,
do.
it's tough to do.
The famous one was the League of Legends one, because when that game first came out, it was a pile of trash. It didn't maybe work as well, or like it wasn't the game that ended up being. So we had like a 4.5.
But even in house,
a 6 or 5.
Even in house, we sort of differentiate. I gave originally League of Legends a 6, but that was another thing because back then we didn't review free-to-play games. It was reviewed specifically as a retail package. But even then, like we view. Even now, like a second take is different from an updated review. So an updated review would be like the League of Legends review, which is like, or we've done it with lots of other games, like EVE Online, for example, is another one that we did. Whereas second takes is really not so much about how much has the game evolved, but like I have a different perspective on this game, and we're going to share it. So for example, when Randolph did Disney Infinity, and it was like, this is, I played it as a game I play with my kids, so I have a different perspective than Kevin, and also Kevin is wrong. So
a lot of balls to juggle.
Yeah,
in terms of
but yeah, I mean, it's and people will sometimes ask, how come there's no video review, or how come this review came then, or this review got posted before this one. Are you saying this stupid game I've never heard of is more important than Major? Blah blah blah. It's like it's work, right?
It's more complicated.
Like when it's a lot more complicated than just I decide that this game is more important than this game. When you have a certain number of people, you have certain resources, you have there's lots of stuff involved. Like when we get the game, do I have to send it to somebody off-site? We run into situations like, okay, so I have somebody pegged to do WWE is a great example. Yeah. Like I have somebody pegged to do this review that's off-site because I don't really have anybody in-house. And so that I have an author that can do it justice. And he only has a PlayStation 4. So even though we might ask for a PlayStation 4 copy, we get Xbox One.
Yeah.
And so that seems like such a...
And then the PS4 one arrives.
And then the PS4 one arrives.
But the video team needs footage. So now I'm playing WWE in my evenings to get the footage for when we record the video
and
review.
Then it comes Friday night, so that's not, if I overnight it, it doesn't necessarily give the author as much time as... So these are the kinds of things that happen. This is just one game. Like these kinds of things can happen with, lots of games in a week, and it's just a juggling act. So when you don't see a review, or when you see this review post before this review, or when like one thing has a video interview, one thing doesn't, it's just that it's all this stuff all kind of combined into one pot.
And it's a lot. And if you guys, if you have questions about it, I've been answering a lot of questions on Twitter about my Halo review. And if you guys have these questions, like reach out to us. We're on social media for a reason. Like, our bylines in every review is a link to our profile on GameSpot, and so you can send us messages that way. So this is stuff that we try to be transparent about. Writing about the circumstances of the review within the review itself is like not. We try to do that in the byline, like at the bottom of the review. So. If anything's ever not clear, we're here for you guys.
Yeah, and it's usually easiest. It's interesting because it's hard for me to answer messages on GameSpot per se because eventually, I'll just have thousands of things in there, just because of the way the messaging system works and a lot of other stuff. So. And sometimes I'll get stuff on PSN or Xbox Live, and I'm like, I can't really, I'm not responding this way.
Yeah, no, okay, I got this.
But if sending me an email is easy. It's always it's there in my byline, or it's easy because it's kevinv@gamespot.com, or on Twitter where I'm FiddleCub. Super, super easy to send me a message that way because I'll answer it. There's really no. I just want to unveil this kind of stuff, and be as transparent as I can be. If you've got a question. Just ask. There's no reason
if it was
to
something that we didn't cover in this exhaustive conversation. So we better keep the show running.
Hard to imagine.
Thank you so much, though, for talking to us about that, talking to me about that, talking to everyone about that. But first of all, I want to talk to you guys about this piece of magician craziness. This is Far Cry 4 Keyrat Edition. I actually don't know what the hell's in it. Can we open it without opening it? I don't know. Are we allowed
that
to?
One?
See if there's. We might not be able to.
I don't think people want to get that box if it's been open, right?
Don't open it.
There's a list of stuff.
Read the list.
Right, okay. So in the collector's box, you have a propaganda poster, the box itself.
So you can put it up and immediately rip it down.
A travel journal.
Sweet.
a map of Kyrat, a Pagan Min 20-centimeter figurine, which is of him. I don't know if I can get that to the camera.
It's him sitting in his elephant throne.
Yeah.
They got rid of the weird slave thing they had.
Yeah, elephant throne guy.
Probably for the best.
There's the poster.
Cheat
There's
it towards the camera a little bit, see?
this way. There we go. Thank you. Ooh,
that
shine.
shine,
There we go. So you've got
up a bit.
Up a bit.
There you go. Yeah, get that focus, Eric Tay.
Focus,
I love
Eric
it.
Tay.
I love it, Eric.
There we go. So yeah, I'm going to try and point. There's the statue. There's the poster. That way is the journal. This is much harder than it looks. Okay.
And if you want to win this, all you have to do is, there was a tweet that went out probably about 40 minutes ago now on GameSpot.com. If you retweet that, make sure you're following us, then you'll be in on a chance to win that bad boy. So retweet the tweet and follow at GameSpot. And yeah, we'll be giving it away during the show right now. So do it, because you might have a chance to win
The
that bad
game
boy.
comes too, right?
The game
you
comes
get a game
too.
as well.
Because it's not one of those stupid collector's editions. It doesn't have a freaking game
I think
in
it might be, which is why we have the game.
No,
Really?
Is it the game in there?
Picture of the game
Oh,
on
it
the
is. There's
back.
a picture of the game. Okay, we're
Sorry.
good. We're
Does
good.
it say
Sorry.
sold separately?
This is no stupid Wolfenstein thing.
You get exclusive. You get exclusive stuff in it as well.
Exclusive stuff.
Wait, this is the
In-game stuff.
Herc's Redemption.
Herc's Redemption.
Herc's Redemption?
Herc's Redemption.
Also, he's holding. There's like a harpoon gun that he's holding. Like Prince was holding his guitar at the Super Bowl performance a couple years ago.
They're single-player missions. They're cool
Giant
single-player
phallus,
missions.
yeah.
That's what you get.
Yeah.
Good one.
Awesome. Giving away games.
We'll do that live on the show.
Giant phallus.
But first of
Who could
all,
ask for more?
Dragonage Inquisition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Dragonage. Just like Lich Battlemage.
It never gets old.
Okay, this game looks kind of rad. 9 out of 10.
This game is really
Watched the
rad.
review a couple of days ago.
I have to wait to sign in a second, so...
I am not a Dragon Age fan.
I
which is
really,
gonna get me in trouble.
really
Me
like
neither.
this game.
No, I tried the first one. I played it for a few hours, didn't catch on, but I've been playing this, and I really like it.
Really?
Yeah.
So I'm in that similar situation where I played the first one. I think I was expecting something closer to Mass Effect, and I didn't get it. And it turned me off. And then I heard 2 wasn't too hot. The combat system was a bit messed up or whatever. But between you playing this, the review, and Andy Bauman playing it beside me in the office, I'm really interested to play it.
Yeah,
so,
this game's pretty rad. I really like this game.
We said really a lot.
Yeah, I
9
know.
out of 10.
As a writer, I understand that you have to use strong words to really communicate
And
what
in the
you
absence
want.
of strong words, just use
really,
less strong
really,
words
really,
a lot of
really.
times.
Yeah.
You know,
You're the worst.
that
So,
loading screen.
I know, yeah.
It's
No, we
coming.
should just cut to it.
Here we go.
So can I give a big spoiler warning though before
yes.
we begin? Okay, so my save is post-story save here.
Okay.
So I'm going to do my best not to show or do anything that reveals anything important.
Okay.
But it is important for me to note that it is possible that something that shows up might be, you could consider it a spoiler.
Would it be
So if
something
you're-
really obvious?
So shouldn't you just go
Maybe-
wander around in the hinterlands or something?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do is probably just go to an area.
GTFO.
Yeah, just go away from the place where you talk to the people.
Why are you a little pixie person? You can create your own character. in
Yes,
this,
you
right?
can, and this is my Inquisitor. He's an elf, a Dalish elf.
A
You're not
Danish
stuck
elf?
with the Dalish.
He's Danish?
So that means he's
He's from Denmark?
Dalish.
Oh, sorry.
You say Dalish.
So, like, for someone like me, right, the thing that puts me off these games is because I've never really been into the whole fantasy, Dungeons and Dragons, his swords and elves and that kind of... I've never been into that kind of world, right? I mean...
Even Skyrim or stuff?
Even
Really?
even Skyrim
Oh.
and things like that. So, you know, that's why I like Mass Effect is sci-fi. I love sci-fi. So, like, for someone like me, I mean, is it even worth bothering? Like, because it is very much heavily in that fantasy world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm
mean,
not
it's
into that. I'm
fantasy.
not
It's
necessarily
very
into that stuff
fantasy.
either, but like, I love
But-
Skyrim. I lap that stuff up.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm into it. I love Lord of the Rings. That's totally my jam.
All right.
Good times.
All right.
Is this a game that people who haven't played the other two can dive into
We
without?
stop scrolling through all the names. Just
Sorry,
choose people.
I'm doing my best. Look, I'm trying to get the people I want.
Just choose them.
I'm sorry. Again, like
fine.
this can
I'm being too
it can be
sensitive.
slightly spoilery.
So what were you doing there?
So I was choosing a party. It's basically gathered my party and venture forth. So I decided not to go to the hinterlands because BioWare has shown so much hinterlands
Okay.
in advance. So I'm going to the Storm Coast, which is one of the earlier places that you'll unlock. And I have my favorite party members with me. So I have, of course, me.
Yeah.
But I have Cassandra. Now, if you don't... this is the first time Cassandra's been a member of your party, but Cassandra is the is the you know, the woman that inquisited Varric at the very beginning of Dragon Age 2. So you will know her even though you haven't necessarily played her.
So do you always play with 4 people?
Well, I can choose to play with fewer.
That's mad.
But if I want an extra challenge, but I'm not doing that in this particular case. So here we are on the Storm Coast. Now, as you travel, there's by the way, that's you don't often need this, but you do have your overhead,
which also lets you get like glamour
view.
shots. Let's zoom in and see some Iron Bull things.
Yeah.
Is this photo mode?
Oh yeah.
I love Iron Bull. Iron Bull is so great. He's Freddie Prinze Jr., right?
That's pretty cool.
What?
That's the voice actor?
I want to say it is, but somebody correct me because I could be just being really, really stupid.
Oh, Kevin.
But I'm going to go to the map and I'm going to go off to places I haven't really been yet.
Is it always raining on the Storm Coast, or does it actually stop?
It's usually rainy,
at
very least. So,
talk to us a little bit about the world. Is it these kind of instance levels?
It is instanced in the sense. So in that sense, it is a lot. I'm sorry, I have to get stone. I can't not get stone.
Kevin,
what the hell is that giant red thing?
Kill the giant red thing. Kill something.
Go kill the giant red thing.
I'm going.
Yeah.
Pew, pew, pew. You're a mage.
Look at those sweet numbers.
I am.
What's happened here?
Okay, so this is basically my little
tactical bow
shield thing that I can drop. It always. No. That is a dispel that I just cast there to get rid of any.
There's so much magic happening here. It is too much.
So a lot of that is just Kevin's basic magic attack that he's just like slinging out there.
Yeah, so this is my basic magic attack, but this is what I meant to do the first time around.
So does it pause because you chose that spell, or are you choosing the tactical version? Because you can press at any time the tactical camera.
You can just pause it,
and it pauses.
Yeah, when you go up like that, it pauses.
And now you can switch between your
characters.
characters.
Now I can. You don't have to be in tactical view to do this.
Right.
You know, if I want to start micromanaging, this is where I can.
What if you want to go look at somebody getting whacked in the face by a giant red demon?
You can do that too.
Let's get
Apparently, yes, it is him.
Oh, nice.
Whoa,
that's great.
Check out Red Bull.
That's great.
Iron Bull right up there in the.
Oh, he's getting knocked on his butt.
It's pretty great. It's pretty great.
Shunters in the chat says yes, it is him. He was also James Vega from Mass Effect 3.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, I remember that guy.
Could you bone it?
Cassandra's down. Well, Cassandra, why are you down? What is going on with you? Let's look at her inventory.
She's slugging potions. It's all good.
So I feel like there might be, I might not have her set up well or something, but.
I was initially off-put by this inventory system. I feel like it's a little lacking in terms of clarity of what can be equipped, where it can be equipped, who it can be equipped by, what it does, how to compare it to other things. I mean, it took a little. I sort of get it now, but it took me a little bit to like wrap my head around. It wasn't the
kill the goat.
Immediately
I'm killing
the
the ram because it has meat or skin. I might need its hide. Though I loot everything.
Are you ever over encumbered?
Yes, you can run out of inventory space. But there are ways to increase your inventory space through
more
like
bad
as
guys.
you earn points that you can basically use to do like Inquisition skills.
Disappear.
There's more bad guys. You're just gonna go get the ram. Listen, I need to get leather.
Sorry, you were saying.
I don't know. I'm not good at playing games and talking at the same time. Obviously, though, I didn't handle this very well. But get up there.
Yeah, so it's open world. Tell me a little bit about that. Like,
so it's not open world in the sense that something like Skyrim is open world. You know what I mean? Like it's
Skyrim is an open world.
Lots of large, really large areas, but they're not all accessible through like one large map. Instead, you have something that's.
Your health is very low.
I know. Thank you.
Sweet.
So you've got you go to the map and you choose different areas to go to, and then once you're in them, for example, you're in the Storm Coast. It's a really sizable area with like multiple outposts you can set up with. Like quests that you're sent there to do, but then like a ton of quests you discover while you're there, and then different characters will sometimes have a quest that they in particular are interested in and will send you on, as opposed to other characters.
So you couldn't, for instance, just like walk from the Storm Coast to
Hinterlands. No.
Right,
No,
okay.
yeah, you have to do that.
Right.
But the areas themselves are so large that
There's a bear. Sorry.
there's never really any point where you're like, gosh, this is so confining.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like Dragon Age 2 where you were repeating a lot of the same small areas. You do come back to these areas for various reasons, but it's not like, oh God, they're sending me back into that same dungeon again. You know, you're seeing lots of different kinds of climates. And,
Which, considering how long the game is, you said you played this for like 100 hours or so?
I finished the story after about 85, and that was sort of pushing myself to get to the end of the story towards the end, because I'm really easily distracted.
Like by deep mushrooms?
By deep mushrooms, for example. And then there's another interesting thing is where, like, you have big areas, but you can't necessarily get to all of the areas. Like, you'll come to places that are locked off to you because there's, you know, a bridge down. And you'll eventually have to get that bridge repaired, and you do all of that stuff back at the war table. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you do back there at the war table. Some of that's sort of like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, where you send out people and they accomplish tasks for you.
Right.
And then, you know, once the time limit has come, they come back with whatever potential reward, and that's how you unlock certain new areas. Because it's not just about combat. Sometimes it's about these other things too.
Which is great, because it kind of it makes you really feel like you're part of this. It feels like you're part of a crew, part of this movement, this Inquisition. Like, it gives more form to the greater thing. It doesn't just feel like you and the guys, the three people you're running around with. It feels like all the playable people you're with, the people on your war council, and it just sort of gives you this way of it feels like you're exerting influence in a much richer way. Which I really have liked so far. I've played about 8 hours or 10 hours of the game.
And influence is actually more or less a currency. You know, as you do things, you earn influence, and then once you earn enough influence, you know, and enough power, then you're able to take over some of the story missions that are available to you. So, yeah, there's so much to do. Oh, look, I'm at a leveling point. I've got people I can level. This gives us a chance actually to look at the skill trees and whatnot.
Go for it. So I'm guessing they are vast.
This is me. So in here, like I typically went, as you can see, I did a lot of cold, but I also threw in some spirit as well. So I'm thinking that I like passive abilities when I can.
Well, you don't have any points to spend for yourself.
So this is revival.
Only for your buddies.
And this is something that I've wanted to unlock for myself. So
you don't have anything to spend.
Oh, I did unlock it. I don't have anything to spend for myself. Yeah, I do already have that. Never mind.
So do you?
Never mind.
Do
2 points for Iron Bull.
Do you micromanage the upgrades for your party members, or because you can also just auto level?
You can also just auto level them, but whatever. No, who does that? That's no fun.
I've got a bunch of questions coming in from the GameSpot chat. I kind of want to get to before we get overrun here. Is there gamepad support on the PC?
Yes.
Because Mass Effect 3 did not have that. And
yes.
I guess
there is gamepad support. It's weird though. Be careful because once you plug a gamepad into the PC and decide to do PC stuff, there are certain things that you then there are certain things on the keyboard that are not available to you.
Oh right, okay.
So for example, if you want a quick save, you can do that when using keyboard and mouse. But like you switch over to controller, and suddenly those things are taken away.
Oh really?
I just never understood that. What the hell? Like, how is that like a technical challenge for them? Like, anyway.
Just put it in a menu instead of
not. Yeah. Anyway,
if you run out of buttons.
Pongly asks, does the story progress through the world linearly like an MMO, or does it let you quest around the map like in Skyrim?
Oh, I mean, sort of both. I mean, the story is going to take you to different areas so that you can unlock them. And until you unlock them, you can't just venture into them like in Skyrim. So in that sense, you are gated. Sorry, I get so easily distracted. But once you unlock that area, you can go wherever until there might be some other kind of gate, like the kind I mentioned before, where the bridge is down and you have to go back to the war table to do that.
I have found myself being able to play it in an open worldy kind of way. Like I go to a place to accomplish a specific goal, like set up 5 camps, but then en route to the camp, I discover this quest or this thing or get in this fight. And there's I just spotted a castle up on that hill. Actually, I'd really like to go see that. I'll come back around to that other thing. So there is that kind of exploratory gameplay. The places are big enough, and there's enough stuff in them that it totally engenders that.
It's definitely there, but it's not. I want to make sure that people don't think it's like, oh, it's so free that the minute you're dropped in, you can travel to any place that will ever be available to you ever in the game. Because that's not how it works.
Lord Locke is wondering, has Origin reared its ugly head? Is it working fine? Is there any problems with that stuff?
I haven't heard of anything.
Okay.
I think most of the days, like technical launch issues people are talking about are like things with Uplay with Ubisoft and Far Cry.
I think people are a bit sensitive to it at the moment. Uplay?
Uplay was this morning. We were trying to play Far Cry on the PC.
Oh, really?
Won't load. Can't log into Uplay. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, the Master Chief Collection is still borked, and the update patch that was scheduled for tomorrow has been delayed.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Happy Christmas.
And they're still working on patching on Unity as well, which I'm told is slightly better these days.
Maybe that patch a decent Irish accent into a speed run as well. Red Hat Drew asks, is there any crossover progress between the multiplayer and the campaign, or is it more like ME3 where you two different sets of progression?
It's like ME3. It's two very different things, but unlike ME3, there is absolutely no connection between the two of them. And ME3 multiplayer could be used as sort of a single-player progression mechanic, and that is not the case here. It is absolutely separate with no
crossover
at all. They're different character and so on. So I went to Dragon Island, which is something I haven't done a lot of.
Are the dragons on Dragon Island?
Yes. So that's what I'm hoping is maybe I'll come across.
Folks, I really like having a rogue, a stabby rogue in your party, because then all of a sudden you'll just see them up like, like doing their stab dash thing.
Cole is great. He's I mean, every character I kind of love in their own way in this game. Cole is interesting because he's a spirit. He's very empathetic. He can read minds, and his goal is essentially to comfort people that need comfort. And when he describes what in other people's thoughts, he speaks in this sort of stream of consciousness poetry that's really appealing to me. Like, it's not often in games that you get a character that's just so empathetic and so caring about others, but not in that kind of cheesy way. He just feels like it's his mission to do that, and it's more of an ethereal kind of thing.
The way you describe him kind of reminds me of Thane from Mass
Effect. Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah.
In the way that he's sort of he's not totally empathetic, but he's different. The way that he sort of acts and interacts, it makes him like a really intriguing character.
Kevin, people can read your thoughts on this on GameSpot, of course. I'm interested a little bit into Chris's insight, considering you did not play the other two, because I'm kind of in that same boat as well, and I think Mark is too. So how are you enjoying it at the moment?
I am really loving it. I mean, I went home last night and I had a copy of Far Cry 4 that I'm playing to work on a gun show for later this week. But I really just wanted to be playing this because it's just the mix. Like, I'm really enjoying the exploration, the combat I'm enjoying so far, and like meeting new people is a really good incentive. Like, I love it when games don't just incentivize like doing better in combat, taking on bigger enemies, getting to new environments, but meeting new people, because it means that the characterizations in that game are really interesting. That's a driving force for me. So I've really liked it, and I wasn't too worried about sort of my world state going into this, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a Dragon Age Origins or Dragon Age 2 save to import. Right. I didn't realize it when I started my game, but BioWare did that thing where they've got like a little web game or story graphic novel thing that you can click through and kind of make the big decisions from.
Did you do that?
I did not. I haven't done it.
So this is, if you haven't played those games, you can it's almost like the toolkit for making your own save game for Walking Dead or something.
Yeah.
You can just like flick the things you want.
Which I think is just like the greatest. Like, I'm so glad that games do that. It's such a smart way to lower the barrier for people who are, worried about like, I really want to know about this world when I get into it, so it really pays off for me. I think that's a really clever way to go about it.
Excellent. Last question before we wrap this up.
Cassandra up, and I'm messing this up so badly.
I'm going to ask you a question
before Kevin gets murdered by a dragon.
Antidote 2005 asks, is the combat system more like Dragon Age Origin?
No.
No? What's it more?
It's simply not. It's sort of like that, and it's sort of not. It's not nearly as tactical in the sense that you can play most of it from this third-person view and have a good time. On the other hand, you can switch to this view and do it, but you only really need the tactical camera during situations like this.
Dragon fights.
Exactly. So you can use it here, and one thing I love about it on console, on PC it's sort of different. You do have to stop and start, like traditional Baldur's Gate, Dragon Age Origins kind of thing, but here you can just hold the trigger and forward time, and then it forwards time, and then you can just go and do whatever it is that you need to do.
Sweet.
Like, for example,
Take some hot meds.
Take some hot. Let's maybe a confusion grenade will do something, and then
Confuse
I can forward
its
time
front
a little
right
bit
leg.
more. But
Into thinking it's its back left leg.
Ultimately, I feel like that's, the best approach that this game could have had. And the reason I say that is because I can't imagine that making every battle a big deal, like it would be if you were always doing the tactical thing, would probably be a mistake. The game would draw out. You're in large areas. I think keeping it relatively just on the fun side is probably the right approach.
By the way, this looks
And it looks
madness.
really nice too. It looks really
nice.
cool.
You gonna kill this dragon?
No, I'm not going to be killing this dragon.
No?
during
Well,
the
you got his
stream.
guard down.
It's going to take a while. It's going to take a while.
All right,
to
well,
kill this dragon.
we will leave it there then. Kevin Valor, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For talking to us about Dragonage Inquisition. It's a pretty long show today. We've had a bunch to talk about. I guess that's sort of fitting considering crazy review season that we're in. We're going to get Jeremy Jane and Aaron Sampson on with Kevin in just a few moments to talk about Far Cry 4. We could have had anyone on the couch for this because I think everyone in the office has
We've
been
all
playing
played it in some way.
I was saying yesterday, the elephant noise, like the amount of time elephant screaming happens in the office has gone up by like 5 million %. It's just constant elephant screams coming from Aaron's
I
desk.
cleared my first outpost with an elephant last night. It was wonderful.
I want that game so bad.
It's really
I
effective.
really want that game.
You can win it as well. Don't forget.
I can't though.
You can't because your middle name's Video Game.
The one thing Mark Walton can't.
Retweet. Follow GameSpot and retweet what we done tweeted probably about an hour ago at this stage. We'll be back in a moment with Far Cry 4. We're going to give that away by the end of the show, so make sure you get on that right now, maybe during this little break. But yeah, we're going to check out possibly the most exciting patch coming out in 2014. This is the Goat Simulator MMO thing. Yeah.
6 months have passed since the latest Goat Simulator patch. Gamers have been requesting another free expansion. Now, the time has come for the lazy developers to turn on their computers once again.
MMO Simulator.
You can't make this stuff up.
2014. We interviewed Armin at GDC, and that interview is going up as part of like what we're calling Goat Simulator the movie, sometime in December once everything's kind of quieting down. I am convinced that they're doing all this stuff because they feel so guilty about all the people who bought it. Like, they have been so like, we're going to keep adding to this game and like doing other versions and making sure that like they had all those weird patches. Yeah. Obviously that's the first patch they've done in like months and months now. But like, they're so like, I don't know, like, thankful, but also a little bit freaked out by all the people who bought it. That they're just like, oh, we'll just make this massive MMO thing.
I mean, can you imagine a larger thing to add though, like an MMO simulator? Like they couldn't have added anything that would have seemed more grandiose than an MMO simulator.
I like the idea of them just going into the map thing and just throwing a few things. It's an MMO now. The presentation of that, it's just that easy.
Yeah. To be fair, Winter Goat's not epic.
This is true.
Goats are pretty much always epic.
That's a good point.
I can't wait to
As are
play
microwaves with legs.
Yeah, I don't know. Those guys seem to get it. I'm looking forward to playing that. But a game we've been playing a bunch this week. Oh, Mary Kish from downtown.
Toss it in.
Yes.
Good job.
Jeremy Jane, there you go, my friend. You and Aaron and Rob and a bunch of people have been pumping out some sweet Far Cry 4 features all week long.
Mostly just as an excuse to play Far Cry 4.
Also, I was just sitting... So Far Cry has a map editor on console.
Oh, yeah.
I was literally just surrounding a wave of bad guys with honey badgers and just watching them all get eaten to death.
Excellent.
And or trampled. It's kind of amazing.
What are you doing here? Swapping in some guns?
Yeah, I was just getting some guns ready for whatever we're going to do today.
If any folks have any questions at all about Far Cry 4, please send them in. We've got 3 experts sitting on the couch here.
You flatter us.
Experts in killing goddamn honey badgers.
Yeah.
Jeremy, you're in an interesting position whereby you have actually never played, you did not play Far Cry 3, is that correct?
I played about a third of Far Cry 3.
Okay.
And I played none of the other Far Cry games.
Right.
And I got a little bored of Far Cry 3. I really liked the idea of it, but I don't know. I couldn't get into it. The story was cool, but it didn't suck me in enough, and it was just a little too much like MMO without the multiplayer aspect. Is a little too like fetch questy, and I honestly feel like maybe it was just my attitude towards the game, because this one, from what I gather, is pretty similar.
Really not a whole lot different in terms of structure.
No, exactly.
This kind of feels like a do-over in some ways.
Yeah.
It feels like a do-over of Far Cry 3. It just with making everything better, more streamlined, more fun.
See, it's interesting because like all the Far Cry games up to this point, there's a certain kind of thing that they've all had, but each one is more or less kind of different from the last. So Far Cry 2 was very different from the original Far Cry, and then Far Cry 3 was much more in that Ubisoft formula than that they'd been developing for a while than Far Cry 2 was. This is the first time in Far Cry where, and granted, part of that's a different developer. Crytek made their name with the original Far Cry before Crysis. But now it's a Ubisoft thing, and it's interesting because Far Cry 4 really is very much Far Cry 3. There's no no doubting it.
Mass circle.
Oh, wildlife.
Oh yeah, get it. Apollo created that.
One thing I love about this game is like, you're a hunter.
I don't want to look.
You're a hunter, but the wildlife clearly fights back in this game.
Yeah.
They're not like these innocent little animals that don't get you. They want to eat your face just like everything else in this world. And everything, including the eagles, all the way down.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
That is one fun kind of new addition. There was a moment where before I had seen a bird attack in this game, where I had seen a bunch of freedom fighter dudes standing around shooting in the air.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this a bug?
Yeah.
Or are they shooting at something? And I was like, and then it's like, it's like, oh my god, it's not a bug. The thing's attacking.
It's not a bug, it's an eagle.
So it's interesting though, because unlike Aaron, I don't necessarily see everything so much as an improvement as so much more of like a. So let's. This is a terrible analogy, but let's go with it. All right. So let's say that Far Cry 3 is a cake.
Oh, I like this already.
Far Cry 3 is a cake, and it's got icing on it.
Layers.
Right.
Like a lemon.
Yeah, let's yes. Imagine whatever
like
cake
garlic.
you like. It's red velvet, okay?
Yeah.
It's whatever you
Murder
want.
cake.
It's a murder. Ooh.
With a blood frosting.
Yo, shoot that guy so you can rip down that propaganda.
Get the
Rub it down.
propaganda
Rub it down.
poster.
I'm very anti-propaganda. Oh,
Far This is Assassin's Creed 2 all of a sudden.
Some sexy propaganda.
But I think of Far Cry 4 as more like, it's, okay, so you have the, good job, Jeremy.
I didn't know what my mission was.
You haven't been paying attention.
I haven't.
So this is more like a cake, but with just there's more icing slathered onto it. It's like, so what can we do? Oh, I know, we'll make it even denser. We'll make sure that every square inch of land leads you to something. The map is so covered with icons.
And I think it also depends on kind of what you're after when you play this series. Like, some people might genuinely be after the story. The story with Voss in Far Cry 3 was genuinely like pretty cool.
Yeah.
At least that aspect of the
Yeah,
story.
he was a great villain until he... Spoilers! Okay.
But if you play this game as a sandbox, then that's why that's where I view this as a big improvement, is because a lot of times I just view the story in this game as a way to open up new areas, as opposed to the reason why I play this game. I play this game because you can off-road and kill cheetahs and wingsuit through crazy avenues, and just the whole insanity of it. This one adding co-op, you have a friend doing it with you. This one has climbing, which I love. And the story, to me, is just sort of the sideshow. It's weird.
You find the story quite abrasive, right?
I hate the story of Far Cry 4 with a passion. What's interesting... You did
do
it again.
Do a different question.
This is the only story mission.
What's interesting to me, though, is that... And this especially was true because, I was playing this when the Just Cause 3 announcement came out. And what was interesting is that one of the things that really irritates me about Far Cry 4 is that it so badly wants to shove things in your face that you don't necessarily want to be doing, but that it's do this and do this and do this and do this. Okay, so one of my least favorite things that happens in the game is that you take over an outpost and you leave. And then
this happens
in 10 seconds, you're like, the outpost is under attack. You should come and save it. So I go back and do it. And I leave. 10 seconds later, it's like, the outpost is under attack.
But do you have to do those?
You don't. But then when you don't, it's like, you failed to
other
protect the outpost. And it's like,
is there anything?
Screw you.
I was like, whatever, guys, you got this. Don't worry. I got a gyrocopter.
But another thing, what will happen, though, is when it happens, okay, so let's say I set my waypoint, and it has a kind of this cool auto drive thing. It's not perfect by any stretch.
I love that bit in the video review.
Take you.
Yeah.
But you have to sort of pay attention to what's going on because it'll just run into things. It's not like it's...
Go for a wander.
Yeah,
I'm going to go take it.
But what'll happen is the game will freaking change your waypoint for you.
Oh, really?
And so, during one of those times, it's like, you know what? Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Well, F you too.
I got a bunch of questions coming in. I just want to get to them pretty quick. Red Hat Drew's asking, it's probably for you, Aaron, how deep is the map editor?
I just started digging into it recently, but it seems like you can pretty much pull out any terrain, any animal, just about any bad guy. You can make your own bases, set up the alarms for the bases, so it seems pretty extensive. It depends on what your history with map editors is, though.
It's pretty user-friendly for what it is.
Yeah.
So it's easy to go in and just put a bunch of stuff around and create kind of a sandbox.
What's the
just go do it?
What's the end goal of it? Can you share it with other people? Is it just to make kind of dumb scenarios, or is it like Forge, kind of in Halo, where you're just playing around with it for fun?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can share it with other people. I mean, you can go in and there wasn't a whole lot when I was playing it because, of course, it hadn't been released to the public yet. But you can share that stuff, and then you can go in and check out what other people are making. Although it strikes me, it's more of a here's a sandbox thing.
It'll be a novelty for most people. I mean, if you're dedicated, you could probably make something pretty incredible out of it.
I wonder how large you can, have you either of you experimented with the constraints of how much you can put into a map editor world before it sort of starts reeling you back in?
I don't really play with it enough to know how far I can really stretch it.
Right.
I'm kind of curious to see what people do with it, especially because those people will be probably maybe more interested in that stuff than I am, although I think, I don't know how many people really come to it for that. I mean, it really is all about the sandbox, right? And that's one of the things so intriguing about this game is that the sandbox is so good, and yet it goes out of its way so often to take you away. And it was like, if I had to choose, for sandbox purposes, if I had to choose between Far Cry 4 and Just Cause 2, I'd actually choose Just Cause 2. I'd actually choose Far Cry 3 for that matter. Because some of the things... on one hand, you get new cool tools like the gyrocopter and elephants. Getting on an elephant is one of the best things.
It's so good.
My favorite mission in the game is one where you just got and it's one that you might not even perform because there are branching missions, so you might not even do this mission. But if you do, it's basically get on an elephant and you can just bring down this whole chimney on this drug manufacturing plant that just falls over and. So, but on the other hand, there's stuff like I miss sharks.
Okay.
And you do have demon fish.
There are distempered piranhas in this game.
Yeah, so you do have demon fish, but but you can basically more or less just, it's super easy to kill one from just the shore.
Yeah.
Jeremy and I did go dynamite fishing.
We did.
Did it work?
It did work. It totally worked. Oh, there's great. If you watch the co-op piece, there's this one great shot where Aaron takes an explosive arrow and shoots it at a fish, and it was the first time we tested it. And I kind of didn't expect it to work. I thought it was sort of like a water blocks all like explosives kind of video game mechanic.
Nope.
And it had this like 1 second delay where it hit and exploded, and I was kind of like, oh, it didn't work.
Fish,
And
like-
the fish just goes soaring into the air.
Like
Really?
10 feet out of the river.
Yeah, it was so good.
I never had a demon fish go soaring into the air. I did have like my favorite part of your co-op video was so with the gyrocopters, your co-op buddy can attach to the bottom and
like
you can
a
fly
rope?
into the air with your grapple hook. So you grapple to the lower end of that, and my favorite thing that you guys did is go up, and there was a helicopter.
Sorry, go ahead.
And usually a helicopter in Far Cry 3, it's like you're on the ground, you get a rocket launcher. That's how you take care of a helicopter. In this case, like you pulled the other dude up and you basically shotguns the pilot
in the face,
and then the thing goes spiraling down because it no longer has a pilot. And it's like that is the most ridiculous thing. You shotguns.
It's interesting. The
the
gyrocopter does sort of give you that Just Cause 2 ability to get up in the air.
Yeah.
And with the wingsuit, I think for me it's a toss-up between Just Cause 2 and Far Cry 4. Because just the pleasure of being up in the air and the freedom of either parachuting or wingsuiting combined with a grappling hook-like mechanic, I think leads to some of the best gameplay moments I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, it's weird though because another thing I prefer Just Cause 2 for is that, like, it's good job.
Nice.
It's not so in your face with a lot of other things. Ubisoft games just love their kind of like, look how edgy we are kind of thing. Like, and Far Cry 4 is no exception to that. And so there are these things that. Like, sometimes I hate getting in vehicles and driving places, like, because Radio Free Curat,
oh god,
there are really two radio stations. One is Pagan Min's official
propaganda,
propaganda.
You got to buy one party.
The other is the other is Radio Free Curat, who is every character is just worse than the last that gets introduced in this game, and like I don't know, like, if they're trying to be, like, I think it's supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
But when you're, like, going down the road and the radio announcer's like, if I were a serial killer, what I would do is instead of leaving a mask as my calling card, I'd smear my victims with shit.
Oh, yeah, that was a weird conversation.
And he's, like, going on, and I'd be like...
Although there is a killer on the loose.
There is a killer on the loose.
And they do have masks that you're finding.
I love that you keep cauterizing your wounds as
and
like
pulling arrows
out of your arm every 2 seconds.
Where did that come from?
So
it's a video game, kids. Don't try this at home.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
But it can be a little bit weird because, like, every time you actually do something the game pushes you to do, it's like, why?
So I almost never hear the radio because I always use the gyrocopters to get places. I always fast travel to wherever there's a gyrocopter.
Yeah.
That was one huge improvement in this game, although Far Cry 3 was not bad with it, but the fast travel was a huge problem in Far Cry 2.
Yeah.
Yes, you had to go all the way to the edges of the map to get the bus stations.
Yeah.
Also, I was watching video reviews for Far Cry 2.
They're everywhere!
Do you guys remember malaria?
Everywhere.
Do you remember how bad that was?
People, I mean, I don't know that I would say that it's universally considered bad, though, because Far Cry 2 was at least very interesting.
Okay, let's get into the conversation. This is Far Cry 4. Everyone seems to be enjoying it up to a certain level, at least, some more than others.
Yeah. Totally.
Far Cry is like the weirdest series in the world because the first game and second game have nothing to do with each other. Largely, Far Cry 2 and 3 have kind of nothing to do with each other.
Have mostly nothing to do with each other.
And this is the first time that the series has actually had any sort of through thread in it whatsoever. So for the 4 people here in the studio at the moment, which is the best Far Cry?
Blood Dragon.
What? Blood Dragon? You gonna call an audible there?
Okay, so ultimately, it depends on what I'm going for. If I'm coming for sandbox, I actually think that overall Far Cry 3 is a better game than Far Cry 4.
Yeah.
And mechanically a better game, best game in the series. So I would go with Far Cry 3. I think its missions are better than Far Cry 4's missions. I think that just as for cohesion purposes, I would go with that. But I think the most interesting game in the series is Far Cry 2.
Yeah.
And the one that deserves more credit than it gets. But I don't know. I mean, you're looking at games that are all in some place in the good spectrum. These are all quality games that are all good in some way. So part of it's just going to be sort of what you come for.
2 is a weird one because 2 is a game that, like, the people who really love 2, like, champion 2.
They really freaking love 2, right?
Aaron, were you much of a fan of Far Cry 2 at all?
Far Cry 2, it was, again, I come to this series for its sandbox aspects. I literally don't know if I ever found the story in Far Cry 2.
Yeah.
Because I was pretty much busy just using dune buggies to run over gazelles and basically taking over bases.
I'm out of ammo. I'm so sorry.
And, okay, so there's one thing I really did not like about Far Cry 2, which was that there were these diamonds everywhere, and you had this map. That it was a physical map you pulled up in front of your face, and I spent so much of that game with a map in my freaking
at the map,
face.
driving with it.
Like I never saw the game because it was always behind a map, and I couldn't not get the diamonds because of gamer compulsion.
Yeah.
So like that kind of ruined Far Cry 2 for me. Between that and the fast travel, being so far out on the edges of the map.
The audio used to drive me crazy in Far Cry 2 as well because it had to have been sped up. It sounds like they didn't have as much room on there as the audio. So whenever people spoke, they didn't speak in a natural way. Everything felt a little sped up, and it felt like there was almost no time between people's conversations with each other. Like it was just like run-on sentences that people kept. So it was a weird game, but I also think it deserves credit for being as different as it was, and for like some people don't like malaria, but I got to give the malaria.
Some
credit.
people don't like malaria.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan.
I got to give the
Most
malaria
of the people who have
credit
had
for for
Oh,
being daring. Far Cry 3 is more a game for compulsive people.
I'm going to give a big shout out to Far Cry 1 because this is like one of my
totally.
first,
There you go.
one of my favorite first-person shooters ever. It's 10 years old this year actually as well. It was March 04.
You just like the mutants, didn't you?
It can be hard to go back to. It can be hard to go back to.
The Trojans were kind of awful. Like that game turned into something really different, like almost like when the hunters turn up in Resident Evil 1 and you're like, oh, come on.
Do you remember the final boss of the original Far Cry?
It was Dr. Krieger.
Yeah.
Because I know that because
bang, bang, bang. Oh,
it was the guy from Archer, right?
What happened? Did you just kill him?
Yeah, he's basically you just shoot him and he's gone and it's over.
I remember that because that same year Doom 3 came out and also had a bad guy called Krieger. It was like two Dr. Kriegers and two first-person shooters.
I actually didn't mind the Trigens. But the thing is,
the German stereo.
The original Far Cry, so first of all, it at least had the best protagonist in the series because he had a freaking personality and he actually had a character. So Jack Carver.
Oh yeah.
And it had a great opening cutscene because it had this like in one moment like it had this like rewind scene from when the boat explodes and use it. So that was cool. But then there's this moment. So you don't begin in the open. You sort of begin indoors, and the first time you walk past a window and you can look out and it's like, whoa.
You're like, oh my god.
And then you're like, am I going to go out? And then you go out and it's like, holy shit, look at this place. And you're like, can I go to these places? Like, well, actually, yes.
Yeah, it was 2004. This was kind of like before large open world, kind of like what we're used to Fallout and Skyrim and stuff like that, having these grand worlds. Like there was an aspect of that in some of the older Elder Scrolls games, but never in like a first-person shooter where there was multiple ways of attacking, like kind of Project IGI style almost.
Yeah, and then you go underwater and it's like, oh my god. It was kind of cheesy in a bit because you saw like the water bubbles around you and it was a little cartoony, but it's like, oh my god, look at this place. And it was beautiful.
It was a game that everyone upgraded their graphics card for because that was the first game that year, but then between Doom 3 coming out and Half-Life 2 coming out later that year.
Oh yeah.
2004 was amazing.
Yep.
Because
World of Warcraft.
Doom 3 did come out that year, and Unreal 2004 came out
the year before.
Was it the year before? Or was it in 2004?
I forget.
Something wants to, because I want to say that it was still. I want to say that it really was early 2004. The reason I remember Far Cry's original release is because it was my birthday in March.
Did you get it for your birthday?
I did get it for my birthday. So, and then at the same time I was playing Unreal Tournament 2004. So I'm trying to remember if Unreal Tournament 2004 came out.
Anyway,
like in January or something or whatever. But anyway, and then it was fun because then Crysis came out around my birthday. So I feel like for a while, Crytek's thing was release games
on Kevin's birthday.
Kevin's birthday.
We almost gave Far Cry a good birthday present as well. Jason Ocampo actually wanted to give it a 10.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, it was scaled back down obviously after some deliberations in the GameSpot reviews team. But it's a great series. It's almost the interesting thing about saying which version of Far Cry is the best is unlike something like Resident Evil or. Maybe not Metal Gear Solid, but like some series where there are obvious like downtrends and uptrends. Far Cry kind of though it's been kind of idiosyncratic, it kind of had a game for everyone. Like, you haven't played much of the old ones at all, but you're a big fan of 4 now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm also sort of partial to... Well, the big difference for me between 3 and 4 is the environment. And, like, they could be stock the same exact engine, which, you know, they're not, obviously, but, like, it's that, like, murky jungle about 3 that didn't really do it for me. Everything just felt sort of, like, samey.
Yeah.
There's so much verticality to this map, and I think, like, the wingsuit was great in Far Cry 3, but for some reason in this, it's just, like, I'll go out of my way to climb up hills just so I can fly off of them. Like, it's so enjoyable.
See, I miss what it does sometimes though is it makes me miss having Just Cause 2's particular brand of grapple hook. And things. So because I felt like there was a lot more joy to get around that way because you could. Although that game was super
Just
silly.
Cause 2 had the best grapple hook of any grapple hook in any game ever. I mean, the fact that you could attach objects to other objects just made that game incredible.
Are you parachuting now?
Wingsuit.
Oh, wingsuiting. Okay.
I was going to see if I can get over the waterfall.
I couldn't tell because you were going... Oh, there we go.
Oh, parachute over the waterfall.
Oh.
I don't think he's going to make it. Do it. Hit it. Hit it.
Oh, you can get in the water, though.
Why didn't you hit parachute?
Because they were just water.
Do it this time. Do it this time.
Oh, that's true.
Can you imagine if you saw a man hang gliding, and then he let go of his hang glider, and you're like, holy shit, what's wrong with you?
And then he just
started
wingsuiting.
All right.
Go under the bridge. You can do it, Aaron.
You guys have a good video, too. I embedded it in the review, actually. Of doing basically a long wingsuit run.
Oh, that was, Aaron.
Which
I will say,
was a lot of fun.
One funny thing about Far Cry 4, because the sandbox is such a pleasure to be in, it's weird, but a lot of the bugs that happen in this game I find kind of endearing.
Yeah.
Like,
they could be Skyrim-ish, actually.
Like, I don't get aggravated. A lot of times I'm just laughing my ass off when something happens. Like, Jeremy and I were running in on a base with elephants, and like my elephant stepped on a landmine and then just started like spinning nonstop over and over and over again.
It was terrifying. I felt really bad for it.
There was a convoy that I was supposed... I'm going to try to do the wingsuit again. There was a convoy that I was supposed to chase, an armored convoy, and it spawned in right in front of me. One of the bad guys just got ejected like 20 feet off the back of the convoy for no reason whatsoever. It was hilarious. So yeah, like this game, it's weird. Like when this game breaks, it usually breaks in ways that I just kind of find hilarious.
It never broke in a way for me that was like that hurt the game at all. Yeah. You know, I mean, every so often stuff would happen where it's like, because it kept like trying to remind me of to do quests I'd already done like an hour before. And so stuff like that can be a little annoying because there's no entertainment value in that, but there certainly is entertainment value in watching that elephant spin around in circles.
Can any of you guys speak to the current situation with Uplay with this on PC? Have you guys played it this morning?
I haven't played it.
I heard Mark say something like there was a bit of trouble with it.
There was. My understanding... Here we
go.
I was watching Ubisoft's tweets this morning, and they said that they got it fixed.
Okay.
But I haven't actually played, and I know actually that there were problems with multiplayer on PS4 and PS3.
I was having some Uplay issues.
I'm not sure what was going on with it. So.
I don't know if Uplay is really known as the sterling service.
Nope.
As opposed to Origin.
What are you guys talking about? It's great.
It's the Origin, the industry leader in
it's sort of the
digital distribution.
So why did we need this sort of service?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this.
Games are a service now, don't you know? They're not released or sold; they're launched.
Games for Windows Live. That's we can blame for all of this.
These trucks are actually the reason why I have barely gotten through any of the storyline.
Because you hunt down trucks all the time.
Yeah, because you're heading somewhere, and then one of these trucks come along, and all you want to do is get the truck.
Especially the grenade launcher sidearm. Kevin, you turned me onto that. I wasn't even using that. I didn't realize it was a thing.
Best sidearm in the game is the grenade launcher, and you can pick it up really early.
It's
do it. You need it for everything.
It's terrible, though, because I lost all my karma, because every time I drive by another car, I'm like, you know, I could just blow it up real quick. Like, I could just plug one grenade into it.
You could just plug one grenade into this guy.
Yeah.
Give me your vehicle, sir.
Don't help him. Just grenade up. No,
I need a vehicle.
Well, I guess you got to fix it first.
Repair it.
This is like a fake out. You're like, oh, I'll help you guys. Right. And then you steal it. You're like, oh, why don't I help you change the tire? And then you carjack them.
I gotta commandeer this.
Can I throw out a quick shout too? Because we didn't cover all of the Far Cries in the sense that there was like Far Cry Instincts.
Oh god.
Oh god.
And stuff like that. So the game came to like the original Xbox as well as to Xbox 360.
Far Cry Instincts Predator.
Yes, there was Far Cry Instincts and then Far Cry Instincts Predator.
Yeah, which were both hot trash.
So the series has found its lows.
Yeah.
As well.
Ubisoft didn't really know what to do with it at the start. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
They eventually found a home for it on Far Cry 3.
Well, then they hit an open world formula that they can apply to every single game that they make forever and ever.
Exactly.
Now.
Watch Dogs. Yep. Assassin's Creed, both Assassin's Creeds.
The Crew.
But I think out of all of them, surprisingly enough, I think the first-person open world thing has been like, there have been more successful first-person open world games. This, Far Cry 2, like the way the Elder Scrolls series has evolved, like the way Fallout has evolved.
And now sort of GTA.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto, bizarrely enough,
first person.
Like I kind of want to see more and more of these games. There seems to be, I don't know, when they put the effort into making that game in this weird little subgenre,
Just Cause 3 is coming out. Like that's going to come out. Like suddenly people that like. See, the thing that's interesting though is we're now. That was great. Oh!
Great.
Sorry.
Case in point.
My worry though is, please finish the games before they come out.
Yeah.
And this year has been a really weird up and down year for. I mean, I hate the term AAA. Yeah. But for lack of a better word, for big budget games, this has been a weird year for big budget games. Either things that were expected to be good weren't good, or things are broken. It's a really strange year for the big budget game.
Anyway, it's been fun talking about playing a bunch of them today on the show, and talking about the crazy review schedule. We got to get back to review more games I see coming in the pipeline. And we got to make some hot video features as well. So Kevin, thank you very much for staying on the show all day today.
Oh God, I'm sick of it.
Back to the real world. Jeremy and Aaron as well for your expertise on Far Cry 4.
Hardly. But thank you for having us, man.
No worries. That's a show.
Whoa!
It's not a show. Thank you, Mary Kate. What would we do without Mary Kate? Thank you, Mary. Mary, come here.
Oh,
yeah, okay. Come here.
We have a winner of the thing.
Someone's gonna get a box.
You do this. I'm out of here. Mary should sit in the chair. Okay. That's the best. I know, it's so big. You can't miss it. Mary.
7 out of 10.
Hold on. Sit here.
It's Harry.
I don't care if you don't.
You heard it here first, folks.
Winner's there to the left.
The winner is Gamer for Life, spelled with an E, 3 for an E, and a 4 for a 4. You won. You won this.
Now you're a gamer for even more of your life.
Yay! Am I doing it right? Am I holding the mic right,
eloquently spoken.
You got like the Bob Barker mic going on?
How much do you think this is worth?
I think this is
without
worth
going over.
149 shekels.
150 shekels. Gotcha. Boom.
Here, $1. $1.
Oh, don't you lowball me. Don't you lowball
That's
me.
the show.
Well,
Danny, take this back. This is the show. This is the show. Thanks for watching. Tune in next week. We'll have more amazing games. I'm Danny O'Dwyer. And that's it. Bye, everyone.
It's a lot of
Where am I looking?